वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर. We have no other refuge. Thou art our sole refuge. Swami, we bow down at your lotus feet and pray that you continue to lead us in the right path. Dear brothers, sisters, youth, children, Om Shri Sai Ram. We have two projects Swami has designed and assigned to us. Firstly, a building extension to serve the increased demand. As Swami says, my life is my message and expansion is my life. This expansion is Bhagavan's prophecy, and we truly believe that he alone is the doer and we are all his instruments, fortunate instruments in this project. Secondly, a Sarvadharma Stupa that would stand as a monument to exhibit Swami's teaching, unity leads to divinity. As Swami assigns us a task, he also chooses the task force and delegates the right leader. We are also fortunate to have that chosen leader amongst us. Brother Dayal Merchandani is a tireless worker, dedicated and humble devotee who leads the army through constant inspiration. You will hear more details from the next two speakers. Today's session is the first in a 5-part series of study circle arranged relating to this project. I have the pleasure and privilege to introduce our first two speakers for today, who actually needs little or no introduction. For the benefit of our young children, I would like to say a few words. They both have been very active workers of the center for the past 35 years or even more. Our children and young adults would look upon them as their loving aunties, SSC gurus, who love them like their own mothers and always pray for their welfare. Center and the organization have put them in different roles, which have deepened their faith in Swami and brought them closer to the Sai family as loving sisters to everyone. Sister Preeti Grover has been an SSC Guru, Education Coordinator, Center President, one of the National Coordinators, and is still continuing as a trustee, Secretary to the Trust, and also currently serving the organization as Vice Chair of the Canadian chapter of the Sai organization. Sister Chandra Gopie again has been an SSC Guru for a very long time, Education Coordinator, Vice President, President, Regional President, and still actively continuing her love for Swami's work as a trustee. Dear Sisters Preeti and Sister Chandra, this virtual podium is now yours. That would start with Sister Preeti. Sai Ram.
Sister Preeti, you're on mute.
Swami, my most humble and loving pranams at your divine lotus feet. My loving Sai Ram to the Sai resident in each and every one of you here this morning. I am so delighted to share with you how our center of love has experienced Bhagwan's presence and grace over the last 4 decades. For many of you, this may be news. Our center started very small, being housed and operated from the basement of a loving devotee. We then moved to York University, which was home for more than 25 years, and from there to 40 Voyager Court North, our home, our Prashanti in Toronto. When the thought of having a permanent home sprouted, we did not lose time and the search started right then. However, it took us nearly 10 years to find a permanent home. In 1999, Brother Dayalu visited Prashanti and took a proposal to Bhagwan for our center and the Sathya school. Bhagavan called him for an interview and blessed him and instructed him to make it happen. He said, make it happen, start small, grow big. We, the members of the center, selflessly decided to prioritize the Sathya school ahead of our center. With Bhagwan's blessings, the Sathya school opened its doors in 2000. With Bhagwan's grace and blessings, in 2007, our center acquired the current location. And as you all know, we acknowledge it as our home away from home. Members young and old worked tirelessly to build this home by serving in every capacity, from offering prayers, likita japam, helping with the construction, cleaning, providing snacks and meals to those working on the site, and the list carries on. Very similar to the little squirrels and the vanaras who served Lord Ram in every capacity, as they were eager to be part of building that bridge to Sri Lanka for their beloved Lord Ram. It did not matter whether one was a professional or not. Yearning of all devotees, young or old, was no different. All wanted to be part of this offering. I will share a couple slides with you on that note. You can see here on the left side, the prayer hall under construction. On the bottom left, you will see Brother Shashi. You will recognize a few other people on the scaffolding in the hallway. On the right is none other than the most amazing architect, Brother Vinu Patel, who continues to be the architect for this part of the project also. And we wish him to be continuing to do Bhagwan's work more and more. Let us see the next slide. Yes, in this slide, you can see the top picture is the altar when it was being constructed. On the right side is the hallway. The children will recognize it's the corridor in the where the classrooms are. And I'm not sure whether you recognize, that's our past president, Amar, and Uncle Vinod. On the left side of the picture, you will see Uncle Darsh, and you will see the tallest young adult in our center, Brother Prema Gopie, and Uncle Dave, and all the other aunties and young children offering prayers. And on the right side, you will see the young adults, Kiran and Jayesh and Nilesh, all filling the ground, the altar, the prayer hall floor with cement. It was cement of love. It was indeed a cement of love. This was a testimony to how unity leads to divinity, which was truly experienced by one and all. Following the dictum of Bhagwan, start small, grow big. We are now growing in love with the building extension and the Stupa project known as BEST. My dear Sai family, I will share yet another definition of BEST, what I think. B, this is extension. This extension will benefit all, for B as benefit. E, this extension will happen how? With your enthusiasm and energy. S, this will be for years. It will sustain the love of all members. And lastly, T, this will be timeless beyond. It will be a legacy for you, your grandchildren, and many more. This extension will help us share our love with the Sai family and the extended Sai family beyond our center of love. The stupa, a symbol of unity of all faiths, will stand tall to share the message of Bhagavan. Unity is divinity. Purity is enlightenment. And with this, I will now invite my dear Sister Chandra to take us through the next part of the program.
I offer my most loving salutations and prostrations at your divine lotus feet, beloved Bhagavan. Sai Ram, my dear sisters and brothers and SSC children, and any guests who are joining us for this talk this morning. I feel extremely fortunate that Bhagavan has given me the opportunity to share with you a little bit about the BEST project. I would like to thank my sister Preeti for sharing the brief history of the center, about its humble beginnings up to and including the beautiful home we now share at 40 Voyager Court. Our Sai home is about to become more spacious and the grounds more sacred. With the construction of the Sarva Dharma Stupa, we are extremely blessed to witness this event of the construction of the stupa right here in the midst of our center. The stupa embodies the fundamental teachings of Bhagavan: love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never, and there is only one religion, the religion of love. I will take you back to that memorable day when Swami revealed to his most revered and precious devotees the 5 major religions with the lotus. He said to them it will be the emblem of the Sai organization. And the story goes like this. Now listen carefully. One late afternoon, the late Sri Indulal Shah and the late Sri N. Kasturi were doing Pada Seva to Bhagwan in a room on the 1st floor of the mandir. They noticed that Bhagwan was drawing a sketch on a piece of paper. After some time, he handed this paper to Professor Kasturi. To their surprise, they saw the symbols of the 5 religions drawn in a circle, while in the center, there was the back portion of Bhagwan's own head, mostly depicting its matchless hair. Surprised, Sri Kasturi asked him, "Swami, why the back of the face and not the front?" Baba explained, "So that you may not keep the paper in the safe and do nothing about it." Isn't that what most of us would do? Swami's photo, we would take and revere it. Bhagwan then clarified the point. This will be the symbol of the Sai organization. 5 major religions in the circle with the Prashanti symbol, namely the lotus in the center. This, my fellow devotees, was the birth of the Sarva Dharma symbol, which we all adore in every bhajan center, display at every function, and exhibit whenever we intend to carry the Sai message. So often we copy, we draw, we look at, and use the Sarva Dharma symbol. I urge you the next time you do so, you must do so with reverence, knowing that the Lord gave it to the world and to the Sai organization. I will end with yet another story of when the Sarva Dharma Stupa was being constructed in Puttaparthi to remind us that the stupa is a landmark in Swami's avataric mission. Constructing a stupa at our center can only be done with the grace and blessing of our beloved Bhagavan Baba. In the story about when it was being constructed in Puttaparthi, the date go back to September 17th, Wednesday, 1975. Swami had entrusted the construction work of the Sarva Dharma Stupa to Brigadier S.K. Bose. Devotees toiled collectively, bringing soil to fill the 7-foot hole, then laying concrete slabs that will be the base for the stupa. On the 4th day, there was a heavy downpour of rain, and Brigadier Bose did not sleep at all that night. He was worrying that the concrete slabs will be washed away by the rain. He got up that morning, the 4th morning, and he was prepared to see what had happened. But instead, there was no sign of any erosion by the rain. Swami came at the site at 10 a.m. on that 4th morning to view the progress, and with folded palms, Brigadier Bose said, "Swami, I witnessed an unprecedented glory of God this morning." In a compassionate voice, Swami said, "And please take this very carefully and keep it in your heart. Whenever any work is done by my devotees with full devotion, no damage can ever come to their work. Whenever any work is done by my devotees with full devotion, no damage can come to their work." I will conclude my talk this morning by requesting all of you to take a moment and pray that the work of the BEST project will continue successfully in unity. And all those who have taken up roles in this project, are instruments by Swami, will be guided by our beloved Lord to fulfill this task. Swami, we are so grateful to you, and we thank you for all your love and your blessings. Sai Ram, and I will now call on our dear son Danushan to introduce the keynote speaker for today's talk. Sai Ram.
Thank you so much, Auntie Preeti and Auntie Chandra, for your beautiful talk. So nice to see how the center developed over time, a place we all easily call our home. And thank you so much, Auntie Chandra, for giving us context for the Sarva Dharma Stupa in Parthi and how we can relate to it now when we see it develop at the center. So at this time, it gives me great pleasure and joy to introduce our guest speaker for today. Originally from Sri Lanka, belonging to a family who have been followers and lovers of Swami since the year 1968, Uncle Arun Uthayan, along with his family, made their first pilgrimage to Puttaparthi in the year 1969. In 1979, Uncle Arun joined as a student in the intermediate education program, which is the 11th standard, 11th grade, at the newly established Sri Sathya Sai College of Arts and Science, which was established in Prashantinilayam. Uncle Arun went on to continue his education with a bachelor's degree in commerce and completed his master's degree in commerce in the year 1986. After completing studies, Uncle Arno has been active in Sai centers in Sri Lanka, in Abu Dhabi, and now in Canada. Uncle Arno has taken up roles in the organization, including the role of a Bal Vikas Guru, study circle facilitator, Sai Center president at the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Scarborough, and devotional coordinator in Region 2. I myself have had the wonderful opportunity to interact with Uncle Arno at the personal level. And one thing that stands out to me is the importance and stress Uncle always shares about reading Swami's literature, listening to Swami's discourse, and imbibing Swami just in our life, understanding, reading, listening. And I'm so grateful that he sets an example and a role model to me personally and so many youngsters of how we can love Swami and understand what Swami has to say. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our esteemed guest speaker today, Uncle Arun Uthayan. Sai Ram.
Thank you. Om Shri Sai Ram. My loving pranams at the lotus feet of my dearest mother Sai. I thank Dhanshan for those kind words. And I thank the center, Sri Sathya Sai Center of Toronto, York, for inviting me to be part of this wonderful occasion. I was reminded of Sister Preeti talking about the center being built like the squirrels who built the bridge to Lanka, just the way Rama built the bridge to Lanka. And so I guess once the bridge is built, it's natural that people from Sri Lanka has to come back, use the bridge and join the Lord. It's said that in just after Lord Rama won the war, and he was returning, many Rakshasas, prayed to Lord Rama, Rama, you are going away. How can we have you? Why don't you come and spend some time? Apparently at that time he said, do not worry. I will come back in Kali Yuga and you can come and be with me. So I always think, and Swami always used to joke whenever Sri Lankan devotees used to come, Swami will turn to the boy side and look at us and say, other fellow Rakshasas have come. That's what Swami used to say. So I was reminded of those moments. So I thought I will share. It's a great honor to be here today because I have had the pleasure of being part of Yorksai Center as a Bhalavikas Guru. I think between the years of 93 and 97, I guess, when I was at the West End. After moving to the East End, I do not frequent the center as often, though I have come and taken part in many occasions. And it gives me a great honor to have been invited to be part of this commencement of this best project. And be asked to speak and reminisce Swami and my time with Swami, what I have learned. Thank you very much. And I think it's a blessing from Swami. And he says we all have to be together in praying and celebrating each of our growth. And I'm happy to be part of this growth of the center at York. Ikshurasamukanna, Draksharasamukanna, Uvukanna, Papa Navukanna, Madhura Mohanamulu, Masai Palukulu, Madhura Mohanamulu, Masai Palukulu, Shanti Premadai, Sri Sathya Sai, Prashanti Premadai, Sri Sathya Sai, Prashanti Premadai, Sri Sathya Sai. These are words sung by Swami. Ikshu Rasamukanna means the nectarine sugarcane juice, better than that. Draksha Rasamukanna means better than the sweetest juice of the grapes. Uvakanna, even the honey in the flower and the smell and the fragrance of a flower, better than that. Papa Navukanna, even better than the smile of an infant. Our Lord's words, Ma Sai, Swami says, our Sai. His words are Madhura Mohanamulu. I mean, they're so sweet and they are so captivating. And who is the Sai? Who is the bestower? Sri Sathya Sai is the bestower of Shanti, Prashanti, and Prema, peace and love, which is the quest of every single one of us. I think the word Prashanti, and we are building a Prashanti, constructing a Prashanti was mentioned by the sisters Chandra and Sister Preeti. So I will go back to the story of how this stupa itself evolved, and Swami took it stage by stage. So I thought I will just share that. In 1958, Shivratri time, Swami unfurled a flag on that day on top of the building, Prashantinare. And he gave a talk and he said, I am unfurling the flag of Prashanti today and hoisting it on this flag post. They should signify that the Prashanti flag should be hoisted in each of your heart. And on the same month, the Sanatana Sarathi was published. And on the cover page of the Sanatana Sarathi was this lotus pillar. So the Prashanti flag itself had what was called the lotus pillar, which is a pillar of lotus. And there was a lotus blooming. And within that lotus, from within was coming out a flame, which Swami called the Jnana Jyoti, the Jyoti of knowledge, of awakening. Param Jyoti, as Swami would say. So that was, you could say, the seed which Swami sowed in his mission, if you want to call it, his avataric mission. Then comes 1967. And in 1967, I think Sister Chandra Gopie has already told the story, so I will avoid that. During Shivaratri time was this incident which Sister Chandra took place. So that's when Swami drew this, on the piece of paper, he drew this, and Swami's hair was in the middle. And he said, don't put it in the safe. I have always contemplated on this and realized if you look at it, Swami, from behind, you're not face to face with him, you will see only his hair. It's so dark and black, and you can't even discern him. You don't even see him. You have to turn it around and look at him. And once you look at him, there comes the flame of Jyoti. The love blossoms as the lotus and comes out. And that's what he wants us to do. And that emblem of Swami was printed on the cover page on the Sanatana Sarathi, which was published in April 1967 on the cover page. So that became the symbol of Swami, the mudra of Swami, the emblem of Swami. And that was the first physical. So I think I should take back a little back. This lotus danda, which I was saying, the Prashanti itself was constructed in front of the Prashanti Nilayam Mandir. There was a circular steel railing, and within that there was in the middle of it was this pit. And at least about every discourse in the early 60s, Swami would mention what it is. He said every small aspect of that pillar or that construction has a meaning. Every small, even a line, even the color, everything. Swami said, many of you may be thinking it is just a decoration. He said, it is not that. The thing he says in the Prashantanaliyam, when you enter the Gopuram, you are entering through the door of tamas. You're leaving the outside world and entering. That is leaving the tamas behind and getting in. And then when you come in, you have what is called Netrananda, Drishyananda. You are able to see the beauty of what is lays ahead. And when you come into the darshan grounds, you're crossing another gate, which is the gate of Rajas. And once you come in, you are into the Sattvic world. Okay. And in the Sattvic world, then you are seeing this circular ring. Past that, the Lord resides. And the circular ring is nothing but all the bad qualities which encircle you. And he says, if you first cross in, there's some sand around it. This is the wasteland of desires. It's all a waste. There's nothing lasting. Then you come across the bushes. He says the anger, how much ever you clip, it grows again and again. You have to constantly clip it. First is karma, then you krodha, you cross that. And then when you come in, there is this grass, green grass, which surrounds that. Swami says that's love, that is divine love. Only when you cross karma and krodha and you come in, then you can, this expansive grass around this, that is love for the Lord. Once you come in this love for the Lord, you go in towards the feet of the lotus danda, then the process of yoga starts. And in this process of, and there are two red lines of concrete circles. Swami said that is hurt, which you experience. One is because of your own anger, you get hurt. That's red in color. The other one is when others hurt, you get angry. There are two types of anger, Swami says. Both have to be crossed also. Then only you come into this land of love. And then you come to the feet of the lotus danda, and then the process of yoga starts. And it rises above. How it rises above is because there are 6 rings, which are the ring, which signify the chakras in your own self. In the and as they say, Kundalini awakens, which is nothing but the gradual growth. And when you come to the top, the lotus of your heart blossoms. The 1,000-petal lotus heart blossoms. And from within that comes the Param Jyoti, the Jyoti of light. And then, only then, you will experience unity in divinity. And then you are ready to unite with the Lord. So he says, this is the pilgrimage of every single devotee who comes here. And it signifies that. And that is why I have built it. Understand the significance. Understand that your spinal column on which a devotee rests should be like the lotus pillar which is built there. So these were Swami's words. I thought I will just recollect. I'm recollecting for my own self. It gave me an opportunity to study. So you should understand every single aspect, the color, the texture, the shape, everything is divinely ordained. So I will come back to this emblem. So the Swami used this emblem as his emblem. He formed what was called Sri Sathya Sai Trust in early 1970. And the first mention of it was, you can find it during the first major celebration, which was the inauguration of the Anantapur College building, in which many people speak and in which Dr. Gokak was giving in his address. He says, this emblem symbolizes what Swami is. And he says, he is the trust, he is the trustee, he is the doer, he is the witness of this entire construction of that building. Because you are also building something. So you should understand, he is the trust, he is the trustee, he is the doer, he is the witness. And he makes it happen. So I thought I will recollect that those words of Professor Gokak while delivering that discourse. Then what happened was in 1973, the Central Trust was formed, and Swami was the sole trustee. And all his organizational work he did through that, because as an official capacity, Swami became the trustee of that center. And another mention, a significant mention of that was when, okay, in 1975, I was fortunate to be present in Prashanthi Nilayam during Swami's 50th birthday when the stupa was inaugurated by Swami. So I recollect, I was a small kid, 10, 12 years old, looking at that tall structure. Because what basically Swami has done, before it was a flag, then it was a lotus pillar, and then that emblem concretized into a large structure. And for me, that is nothing but Swami. Just the way Shiva Lingam is a symbol of Shiva, the Dharma Stupa is Swami himself. It is an external manifestation of Swami, because if you read the Dharma Vahini, there are a couple of chapters devoted by Swami to Gopuram. He says these structures are built as not as decoration. They're built to remind everyone when they look at it, remind of the Lord, and calls out to everyone who passes by, come, come, you are wasting your life. Come and become the pillar and experience divinity. So that is the principle. So Swami used this emblem even to build this in 1981, January 14th, the permanent charter of the Sri Sathya Sai organization was published. The Sri Sathya Sai organization was established by the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust, Swami being the trustee, as the organization which will expand around work in a structure. Even though the organization existed before, 1981 Swami formalized it. And that is how the organization sprung up. And Swami has been guiding the organization until 2011. And I'm sure he's still guiding. So he used this emblem because that is a stamp. If you look at every single building of Prashanthi Nilayam, you will find this lotus in every building, whether it's a school building, college building, everywhere you will see that. Because ultimately the top, because sometimes we don't pay attention to it. That is the heart lotus in every building, because he wants that to blossom everywhere, to remind us. And that is the whole purpose of the structure. So with that structure, then I will come to then, I hope, if I run out of, because I get caught up in this and I may just go on and on, remind me. So I will come to this emblem itself, the Sarva Dharma emblem with Swami. See, everything Swami does is, so maybe I think I was told I should weave some personal experience of that. For me, this pillar itself is Prashanthi. And talking about Prashanthi, I'm reminded of, because see, so everyone says there's only one religion, the religion of love. There's only one language, the language of heart, love. So for me, this emblem with Swami, actually, these are words. These are unspoken words. They speak thousands of words. The messages which come from it, can't be expressed. So I'm reminded of Prashanthi Vahini, because I started my talk saying the words of the Lord are divine, so sweet. As a small young kid, I'm standing and talking very confidently in front of you. In 1969, January, I joined grade 1. We made the trip that year and came back. But there was a problem which my mother faced with me, because I had learning difficulties. I still remember 1969, I could not learn ABCD or 1 + 1. And I remember the hours my mother spent struggling with me. And in 70-Yorksai, it continued. And she, out of frustration, she used to grab me, drag me to the altar and pray with me. Swami, this fellow can't, what can I do with him? And that was what Swami said. It so happened in 1970, my father and mother started a magazine in Sri Lanka called Sri Sathya Sai Amritam. And, I was, even though I was not very not studious, I couldn't read or write. I liked my mother because she paid a lot of attention because I couldn't study. So what was happening when this magazine was started, I would sit and watch what my mother was doing. Sometimes late into the night, 2, 3 a.m. because my mother, most of the work was done at night. But I will sit next to her and I will sometimes bug her, So one day she gave me something and told, it was actually one of the proofs she was reading. She gave me also and said, you match each letter. This letter, even if you don't read, you say it's A, tick this and tick that. So that was the job given to me. But the text was Prashanti Vahini. So every day, almost every day, because the proofreading goes on for about 3-4 weeks, every day I would be ticking that, letter by letter. I didn't know even the words, nothing. And the Prashanti Vahini, for 2 years that magazine ran, after which Swami asked that to be ceased because Sanatana Aarthi started coming out in Tamil. But in those 2 years, I read the Prashanti Vahini without understanding anything. But at the end of that, things started making sense. And I started learning and studying better. So I understood, even though Swami's words I did not understand, just by mere reading, mere just looking at the letters, I have become what I am today. I always remember that. So I thought I would just share, because the words of the Lord are so powerful. Just looking at that, even if we don't understand, is powerful. So if we look at the Sarva Dharma or Dharma Stupa, just having the darshan of that itself will bring about change. When we look at it, we should look at it with reverence, with love, as a gift from Swami, as sisters have already mentioned, as an emblem, as a symbol of Swami himself. Because all religions gather at his feet. If you think, the Supa is Swami, you can see all religions gather at the feet of the Lord. And anyone can enter the Lord through any one of the paths. All are same. Whatever path you come, you enter me. And once you enter me, then you grow. You grow in me, is what Swami is. We can climb on him, actually. That is the path of our growth. So that is something which we could always remember, I thought. Then, some of the things which, because many things, sometimes people do not understand what exactly Swami is doing. See, for example, other speakers mentioned that, these are emblems from 5 different religions. I would, it is accurate, it is correct, but it is much more than that. Actually, these symbols are from the Sanatana Dharma. It is just that they happen to be accepted by one group of people who have taken up a belief. That's all. Because each of those symbols actually belong to Sanatana Dharma. If you take the cross, that also belongs to Sanatana Dharma as swastikas. Because I don't know whether, because swastika has become a very notorious symbol today for a variety of historical reasons. But actually, swastika is the cross. But what happens, I don't know whether you all know, some of the swastikas have lines on one side, the others have on the other side. In both cases, one is supposed to be worldly success, the other one is supposed to be spiritual success. So you cut the eye clean across, as Swami says, and let your ego be crucified and let it die on the cross. That is the explanation of the cross. The explanation, is coming only from Sanatana Dharma. Even though it is in the Bible, not many people understand. Jesus, of course, that's what he said, but others may not have understood. Then Swami came to explain to everyone that this is the path. If you take the moon and the star, Swami will say that you should be like the unwavering star, always attached to the moon. Okay, our mind should be focused so that we should never be wavering. Again, a principle of we should be like the Dhruva star, ever always fixed and never wavers. That's what Swami says. And the crescent moon is nothing but the Lord wearing it. That's why Shiva has. So the Chandra Bindu is a very common phenomenon. Yes, some Islamic followers have accepted. There are many who may not accept it also because they feel you should not have a symbol for the Lord. So some people reject it. But many Islamic people have gathered because they felt it symbolizes something for that spiritual. Then you take the fire. That's the way in Agnihotram is a Vedic tradition, but it's the same tradition in the Zoroastrian tradition also. So Swami is actually showing us how everything is linked. Because Swami always said, I have come back to establish the Sanatana Dharma. You can pick any one of them and it will take you, as long as you pick one and follow it thoroughly. That's what Swami would say. Then we come to the wheel of Dharma. The wheel of Dharma says it's a cause and effect, cause and consequence, deed and destiny. And he says the wheel of Dharma writes it all. Okay. Because what happens is you may think the Dharma is always, it goes up and comes down. That is also divine design. We may think, the world will be completely new. No. It will always go up and down the cycle because it's like the night and day coming one after the other. It's a circular, cyclical movement. Movement is necessary. Just like pain and pleasure, happiness and sorrow. These are actually things which make us move forward and forward. And when we take up the dharmic path, then they will take us. They take us like a wheel to the Lord. And when Swami says we will be able to hear that primeval pranava resounding in our heart. Not only in our heart, we will hear the primeval sound resounding in this entire universe. And that is what is symbolized by the Sarva Dharma symbol. Because you should understand these numbers 3, 5, all of them. I don't know whether, there may be youngsters listening, it will be interesting. Because some of these numbers, why do we chant 3 Oms? Why are there 5 symbols Swami has chosen? Why is Omkaram chanted 21? Anyone, youngsters who are interested in math can look up golden ratio, divine proportion, and things like that. Because you should understand the structure itself is like a yantra. As you all know, whenever a building is constructed, Swami, these are geometrical shapes, which are actually energy centers, which Swami puts under the. So even the Sarva Dharma, the 5 number has certain energy. Why? Because Panchendriyas, Panchapranas, Panchakoshas, everything is 5. Our hands have 5 fingers. Our feet have 5 fingers. Can scientists explain why? They really don't know. But even though the 5 fingers are not the same, they're not alike. Just like all faiths, all people, they're not the same, but they're all one. Because unless they come together as one, nothing in this world can happen. This is symbolized by Swami. So when we look at our 5 fingers, we should know that is divinely ordained. And with these 5 fingers, so bringing the 5 senses together, offering it to the Lord, Indriya Nigraha, we will be able to move on and reach the Lord. May Swami bless us all to become this walking stupas, inspired by the stupa you are going to build. Everyone who passes by, you should understand that it's our life goal to become the walking dharma stupa. Swami has used the word, Swami didn't use the word Sarva Dharma stupa ever. Swami used the word Dharma Stupa when he inaugurated the Dharma Stupa in, I think, March of 1975 in Dharma Kshetra. So let us each be a Dharma Stupa. Let Swami help and guide us. So we become the walking Dharma Stupas in this world. One day, maybe not today. It's a lifelong journey, but it has to start somewhere. And with those words, I bring my talk to close. Sai Ram, thank you very much, Swami.
Thank you so much, Uncle. Wow, that was fantastic. So much to take in, so much to cover, so much context that you gave us for this structure that we'll be seeing at the center that to a lot of us, to an extent, is a bit foreign. So to understand the symbolism behind the stupa, I think is really important for a lot of us, especially some of us youth and students that don't have the context for what each aspect of the stupa represents. So if it's okay with you, Uncle, we do have a few questions that we were hoping we could ask you. They're coming in from our SSE students in their classes right now. And you just happened to end off your talk speaking about Swami referring to the Sarvadharma Stupa as the Dharma Stupa. And one of our questions was that Dharma is often given a different meaning. I guess we can't get a comprehensive understanding of the word Dharma in English, but we've heard it to mean right conduct, duty, religion. And so a question was, why is religion referred to as Dharma? Why do we say that religion is Dharma? So that was the first question from one of our.
To understand this question, you should read Dharma Vahini. Okay. But you should, that's the number one, I would say. You should not say, Uncle Arun said, and, then quote me. Okay. Or we should not be quoting some discourse, some sentence. I think that's the first thing I would say, because we have a tendency, because we are so lazy to make the effort to study, because Swami has spent 23 years writing article after article every day, every month. But, we don't pay attention. We say we don't need to read too much. One quotation is good enough. Then why did Swami spend so much time writing, I would say. So Dharma, so actually there are many discourses where Swami has said, don't translate the word Dharma. Swami has said this. But Swami said, I never force anyone. I just tell what is good and others can do whatever they want. If you feel in your heart you have to follow it, it's fine. Swami has said people think Dharma is religion, which is the right word in Sanskrit is mata. Okay. Religion is mata. Some people say it's right conduct, righteousness. Swami says they don't even come close. Okay. But, we have a need to translate. So that we understand the way we understand, but then it limits. Dharma is whatever supports the world. God is the support, like, Vishnu is supposed to have come as the tortoise and supported, so God is the one who supports, Adhara. Okay, so whatever supports is Dharma. So religion is actually supposed to support. Okay, but religion is, as Swami says, religions are nothing but Dharma is a stream. Each religion is a pool. The water is the same, it's come from the river, but it is not the river. You cannot equate the pool to the river. So the thing is, if somebody wants to get to the ocean, from the pool, you can't get to the ocean. You have to jump into the river and go with flow with the river. So if you stick to the pool, sometimes what happens is the result is Ashanti. See, Swami says from Ashanti, you have to go into Prashanti. From Prashanti, you have to go to Prakanti, Paranjoti, which is also the symbolism of the, see, the religions means, see, in Bhagavad Gita, there's words called Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Okay, many people have given the various meanings. If you want to understand what Swami meant when he was Krishna, he has explained it in Gita Vahini. He says Sarva Dharman means thinking that Dharma is many, this is right, that is wrong, this is good, that is bad. All this confusion is the Sarva Dharma. Leave that. And Mam Ekam, that Ekam is one. That one Dharma you embrace. If we try to understand this, what is this? We have to start somewhere. Swami says, you are in Ashanti, no problem. But from Ashanti, jump into Prashanti. Okay. And then you become Prashanti, you become Prakanti. Prakanti is the blossoming of the lotus. It blossoming and spreading. They're spreading the fragrance of love. And from that comes Paramjyoti, the light flame. I hope I answered your question. I just went off on a tangent, I guess. I hope. But I thought I again took the opportunity to go back to the stupa. Sai Ram.
Yes, Uncle.
Because there's so much, I can talk for about a year, there's so much, and we can spend our entire life studying it. So, I'm trying to just pick some nuggets here and there. Okay, Sai Ram.
Thank you, Uncle. So another question that we had was, why is it important for us to practice our own religion to understand the concept of unity of religion? Because it's something we're, yeah, please.
Very good. Yeah, I understand. I will narrate a story which Swami narrated while inaugurating the Dharma Stupa in Dharmakshetra. Okay. Swami sometimes has this habit of telling story, and we will wonder, why did he tell this story? I will tell the story and then you will try to, I'm not going to explain too much. Okay. Swami said there was a washerman, Dhobi, a person who does, I don't know if youngsters are there who don't know, who washes the clothes of people, a laundromat. Okay. In India, this laundromat, is a person. And what he does is he has donkeys on which, he puts all the clothes and takes it to the river and washes and brings back. Those donkeys are his. Then he also had a couple of dogs, apparently, which will guard, because what happens, sometimes though, he has all these expensive clothes, he's washed, and some, thieves may come and steal. So he has dogs. So he says, dog has its own dharma. The donkeys have their own dharma. Okay. The donkey's dharma is to carry the clothes. The dog's dharma is to bark and chase any thieves. But once there was a big function, and there were so much clothes to wash, this fellow was so tired. So at the end of the day, he forgot to feed the dogs. So he forgot to feed the dogs. So the dogs were very tired themselves. They didn't even have the energy to bark. The dogs get easily tired. But the donkeys, they are mules, they work hard. They don't do things fast, but they're very slow. But they do their work. So what happened that day, the dogs were not fed. This fellow was tired, he fell asleep. The clothes were all drying. Some thieves came. These dogs were tired and they were all upset also with their masters. They didn't get up, they didn't bark, they just kept on staring. So apparently this donkeys thought, my God, somebody is stealing, we should do something about it. So they started braying loud, thinking, first they thought the thieves will get scared and run, which didn't happen. Then they brayed more and more, thinking that the owner will get up. That fellow got up. He was tired and he was sleepy, and he thought, what are these donkeys doing? Braying. Basically, he got up, he picked up a stick next to him, and he ran outside and, he beat them so badly, and they thought, my God, we are trying to help this fellow and he is beating us up. So Swami says, you should follow your own dharma. Okay. Don't try to get into dharma somewhere else. That is the story. Okay, I'm just going to leave it here. So the thing is, we should know what's our dharma, because what happens is, see, we all say unity of religion. Everyone say all religions mean same thing. Swami stop and ask, do you know your religion? That's the first question. See, for example, if I don't know the subject, see, for example, I don't know English. I don't know the English. I don't know other language, somebody else, French. Okay. If I stand and say all languages are same, I won't be able to even explain that, because I don't know English to explain that also. So I may just blabber something and think that it makes sense. Swami will say, dharma has to be practiced. Again, I will go to Gita Vani. He says, the adharma has come in this world because people are not, without practicing dharma, they're all talking about dharma. He says, instead of satyam vada, dharmam chara, they are doing dharmam vada and satyam chara. You destroy the truth, Swami says. So, see, the thing is, each of us, if we understand our own religion well, we will understand all religions are good. Until then, because Swami says the oneness comes only when you identify with Atman. Identify with Atman. And that does not happen until and unless we practice our own religion. Talking about religion does not help. Learning what each religion is, studying it, and practicing it in our lives will give us experience. As Swami always says, religion means realization. It's an experience. It cannot be communicated through word or anything like that. Okay, I hope I didn't overshoot myself. I will stop here. I don't know whether I answered your question. I don't have, I have my interpretation maybe, but I told the story and I stopped it here. Okay, Sai Ram.
That's perfect, Uncle. No, thank you so much. I'll get the opportunity to ask some of the SSC students. So fingers crossed, I'm sure it did answer their questions. I think it gives us a lot of context, to truly see the stupa being built at the center. And I think this is the first time I've heard it being described as a physical manifestation of Swami. At least that's how we should perceive it, and what each aspect of the stupa should represent. Just bringing that to the forefront of our mind is enough to ruminate on, So I think we're all so grateful to have you as to inaugurate this kickoff for our Sarvadharma Stupa construction. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to all our devotees today. We're so grateful. So with that, I'll pass it on to Auntie Kala to give our closing remarks.
I offer my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of Mother Sai, and my pranams to the Sai in each and every one of you. Dear brothers, sisters, uncle, aunties, young adults, children, Om Shri Sai Ram. I hope you are all very excited. In spite of everything that is happening around us, Bhagavan is gracious. Look at the blessing he gave us this morning. And Brother Arun, words are not enough to express our gratitude for taking the time and sharing and breaking down your experiences and being so kind in sharing them with us and helping bring a context. It is so wonderful that now with this presentation, the context that Sister Preeti gave, the information that Sister Chandra shared with us, how this was evolved, and then elaborating on that story, Brother Arun, the meaning, you have now reminded us that this is not a building project. It is a personal sadhana. It is an offering. Now we have truly brought Bhagavan in the form of the stupa to Canada, to Toronto. Every single time we pass the stupa, we will be reminded that Bhagavan is present physically here to guard and guide all of us. I think the information you shared is so transformational, and all we need to do is to hold on to this blessing and look out for each other with love and make sure that we are always practicing the dharma for which we have been given this birth. I think words are not enough to express my gratitude. I want to express my thanks to Brother Sudhakar and to your devotional team, to the spiritual team that's part of this offering, Sister Usha, Brother Param, Brother Dhanushan, and to the steering committee and to the planning team. Thank you very, very much. Let's continue to celebrate the blessing. Take the opportunity to enjoy and really joyfully rejoice the blessings that Bhagavan is giving us. Celebrate with a whole lot of gratitude. Let's be happy, let's be healthy, and let's be safe, and let's keep everyone who is going through difficult time at this time in our hearts and prayers, and ask Bhagavan to send his love and light and shower them with blessings. Thank you. Sai Ram. I now invite Dhanushan for the closing prayers. Thank you.
Before we close today, we'd like to remind everyone that we have our program that continues with Swami's Discourse, followed by Bhajans. We'll close out the morning session with Samasta Loka. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
embodiments of love, boys and girls, students,
అనంతపురం పౌరులారా,
citizens of Anantapur.
మీరు ప్రకటించిన పలుకులు, మీరు ప్రదర్శించినటువంటి దృశ్యములు నా హృదయంలో హత్తుకొని పోయింది.
All the words that you said and all the presentations got themselves imprinted in the heart of our beloved Bhagavan.
అనంతపురంలో ఇంతటి శక్తి సామర్థ్యములు కలిగినటువంటి వ్యక్తులు ఉన్నారా అనేటువంటి సందేహం పోయింది.
We don't need to doubt any longer the capacity, the potentiality, the ability of citizens of Anantapur.
మీ యొక్క దృశ్యములు, మీ యొక్క వచనములు అన్నీ కూడాను ఎంతయో ఆదర్శప్రాయంగా ఉన్నవి.
All your utterances, all these presentations are very, very ideal and commendable.
ఇవి అన్ని జిల్లాలకు కూడాను దీనిని ప్రాకించాలి.
In fact, Anantapur sets a model for the remaining districts.
కనుక నేను ఆశించేటువంటిదంతా ఇది ఒక్కటే.
This is the only one that Bhagavan wants from you.
నాకు ఎట్టి ఆశలు లేవు.
Bhagavan has no desire whatsoever.
నాకు ఒక్కటే ఒక ఆశ.
Swami has only one desire.
అందరినీ ఆనందంలో ఉంచి
That all should be drowned in happiness, bask in bliss.
వారి హృదయాలను ప్రకటింపజేసి
And thus all the bliss in their hearts should unfold.
శాంతిని పరచడమే నా యొక్క ఆశ.
And Bhagavan's desire is to shed the peace among everybody.
నాకెవరు ద్వేషులు లేరు.
Bhagavan does not hate anybody.
ఎవరు నాకు విరోధులు లేరు.
Yes, no enemies at all.
అందరూ నా వారి.
All belong to Bhagavan.
అందరి ప్రేమ నా ప్రేమనే.
In fact, our love is Bhagavan's love.
నన్ను ద్వేషిస్తే వారిని వారు ద్వేషించినట్టే.
If you hate Bhagavan, it amounts to hating yourself.
నాకు ద్వేషం అనేటువంటిదే లేదు.
There's no trace of hatred in Bhagavan.
ప్రేమ తప్ప వచనములు ఏమాత్రము నాలో రాదు.
Bhagavan is a very personification full of love, love, love only.
పిల్లల యందు నాకు ఎంతో ప్రేమ.
Bhagavan has immense love for children.
నాకు యోగులు, భోగులు, యోగులు, సన్యాసులు వెంతకుంటే నాకు ఇష్టమే లేదు.
Bhagavan does not consider the renunciants, the men of sacrifice, not that important.
పిల్లలే నాకు చాలా ప్రాపర్టీ.
Children are Bhagavan's property.
వాడు బాగా పైకి వస్తే ప్రపంచమంతా కూడా బాగుపడుతుంది.
If they are ideal and they are good, the whole world is bound to be good.
ఎంత ఐకమత్యం కావాలి.
Unity is required.
మనమంతా కూడాను హిందువులము.
We are all Hindus.
హిందూ అంటే
Hindu means
HINDU.
the spelling is HINDU.
H అనగా హ్యూమిలిటీ.
H stands for humanity.
I means individuality.
I symbolizes individuality.
N nationality.
N is nationality.
D divinity.
D is divinity.
U unity.
U is unity.
ఐదు ప్రాణములు.
These are 5 life breaths.
పంచభూతములు, పంచేంద్రియములు, పంచకోశములు ఉండినట్టుగా ఆధ్యాత్మికములు ఈ 5 అక్షరములు కూడాను పంచ ప్రాణములు, పంచ తుక్కులు.
Just as we have 5 senses of cognition, 5 senses of action, 5 life breaths, 5 elements. These are the 5 principles in the spiritual path.
కనుక మీరు ఈ 5ంటిని కాపాడుకొని ఐకమత్యం కావాలి.
Therefore it is important to safeguard them and unify them.
ఎలాంటి చిన్న విషయం అందరినీ కూడాను భేదాభిప్రాయములు కలగకూడదు.
Don't entertain any difference opinion even in tiny matters.
ఏదైనా భేదాభిప్రాయం కలిగినప్పుడు క్షమించమని వారిని ప్రార్థించవచ్చు.
When there's difference of opinion, seek the pardon of others.
కనుక ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడాను భగవంతుని యొక్క బిడ్డనే.
Everyone is the child of Bhagavan.
బిడ్డలు, కొడుకులు అందరూ తండ్రి బిడ్డలే.
The children and the grown-up sons are the children of same God.
కనుక అందరూ భగవంతుని బిడ్డలుగా భావించుకొని
Consider everyone as
అందరూ
a child of God.
అన్నతమ్ములు అక్కచెల్లెండ్ల వలె మెలగాలి.
We should mingle within ourselves as brothers and sisters.
ఈ అందరి యందు కూడాను ఒక్క ప్రేమ తప్ప అన్యమైనటువంటిది లేదు.
It's only the love that is immanent within every one of us, nothing else.
ప్రేమను పెంచుకుంటే అన్ని ఏకమైపోతాయి.
When once you develop love, all get stand united.
కనుక ప్రేమను పెంచుకొని ద్వేషమును దూరంగా ఉంచుకొని మనము ఉన్నటువంటి యొక్క శక్తిని, మానవ శక్తిని బలపరుచుకోవాలి.
Therefore shed all hatred, improve your love, and then strengthen the human quality within everyone.
చిన్న పిల్లల యందు ఈ శక్తి చాలా గొప్పదిగా ఉన్నది.
Among youngsters, this strength is present quite a lot.
పెద్దల యందు అనేక రకములైనటువంటి చింతలు చేరి వారి మనసును బలహీనంపజేసింది.
The adults will have weak minds because of varied thoughts.
ఈ పిల్లల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి యొక్క సర్వశక్తిని కూడాను, ఈ 5 ఇంద్రియముల యొక్క శక్తి కూడాను మంచి బలపరుచుకోవాలి.
The youngsters should strengthen their capacities, their strength, the physical strength, and of the senses in particular.
అందరూ కూడాను ఏకమైపోవాలి.
All should stand united.
నేను మొన్న మెడ్రాస్లో చెప్పాను.
Bhagavan said the other day at Madras,
నాది ఈ స్టేటు, ఆ స్టేటు, ఆ స్టేటు అని పేర్లు పెట్టుకొని చెప్పారు.
and many people stated there they belong to different states of this country.
కానీ మనది ఏ స్టేట్ కాదు, ఇండియా. ఇండియా మంది.
Never speak of your separate state or province. We all belong to India.
స్టేట్ కోసం పాటుపడేటువంటి వారు కేవలం వ్యక్తిగతమైనటువంటి ఒక శక్తి కోసం.
Your provincial loyalty is just individual.
కానీ మనకు ఇండివిజువల్ కాదు.
We are not just individuals.
యూనిటీ,
We should stand united. Unity.
నేషనాలిటీ.
Nationality.
ఈ నేషన్ అనేటువంటిది మనం దీన్ని మర్చకూడదు.
This nationhood patriotism we should never forget.
వ్యక్తిగతమైనటువంటి శక్తిని మనం విడువకూడదు.
And we should never give up our own inner strength.
మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది పేరును మనం సంపాదించుకోవాలి.
We should earn the title of a true human being.
మానవులకు ఉన్నటువంటిది 5 ప్రాణము.
Human being has only 5 life breaths.
అది సత్య, ధర్మ, శాంతి, ప్రేమలు.
The 5 life breaths of every human being is truth, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence.
నాన్ వైలెన్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఎప్పుడు వస్తుంది? పీస్ గా ఉన్నప్పుడే వస్తుంది.
When can you observe non-violence? When can you be non-violent? When you are at peace, you can be non-violent.
ఈ పీస్ ఎప్పుడు వస్తుంది?
When can you remain in peace?
ప్రేమ మనలో పుట్టినప్పుడే ఈ పీస్ మనకు బయలుదేరుతుంది.
When once love finds its place within us, you will earn peace.
ప్రేమ లేకపోతే పీసే లేదు.
Without love, you can never be peaceful.
ఇది ఏ షాపులో కూడా చిక్కేటువంటిది కాదు.
Peace cannot be purchased from any shop.
బయట ఎక్కడైనా చూస్తే పీసే లేదు.
Outside, there's no trace of peace.
అంతా పీసెస్ 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 పీసెస్.
Outside, there's no peace, only pieces, pieces, pieces.
కోటీశ్వరుని పోయి మనం ప్రశ్నించినప్పటికీ అతను అయ్యా నాకు సర్వము ఉంటున్నది కానీ నో పీస్ ఆఫ్ మైండ్ అంటారు.
If you ask a millionaire, he will say everything in this world, but he has no peace of mind.
కానీ ఆ పీస్ ఆఫ్ మైండ్ ఒక ప్రేమ చేతనే లభ్యమవుతుంది.
The peace of mind can be acquired out of love only.
తల్లి బిడ్డల పైన,
The love towards the mother and children,
కుటుంబం పైన,
towards the family,
ఈ ఫ్యామిలీకి తగినటువంటి ఒక ప్రేమ కామన్ వెళ్తే,
and the love is towards the family and children is based on this attachment common.
అన్నిటికీ భగవంతుని యొక్క ఇష్టం ఉంటుండాలి.
For everything there is divine love that governs.
ఈ డివైన్ లవ్ ను మనం పెంచుకుంటే
Then once we develop divine love,
అన్ని మనకు చక్కబడిపోతాయి.
everything will stand corrected.
కానీ క్షణములకు మనకు క్రోధము, ద్వేషము, అసూయ, డంబము ఇత్యాది దుర్గుణములు మనలో అభివృద్ధి అవుతుంటాయి.
But every moment we give scope for the growth of evil traits such as enmity, hatred, anger.
ఇవి చాలా చెడ్డవి.
They are very bad qualities.
లోకములో ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఉన్నాయి.
These qualities do
ఇవన్నీ
exist.
అనిమల్ క్వాలిటీస్.
These are animal qualities.
కానీ హ్యూమన్ క్వాలిటీస్ అవి కాదు.
The human qualities are not these.
ప్రేమ, శాంతి, సంతోషము, దయ,
Love, peace, happiness, compassion.
ఇటువంటి మానవతా గుణములు ఈనాడు వదిలిపెట్టి అనిమల్ గుణములు మనం చేర్చుకుంటున్నాం.
We have given up these human qualities. We are cultivating animal qualities.
ఎన్ని బాధలు కలిగినప్పటికీ మనము సహనంగా ఉంటుండాలి.
Be that what it may, in spite of all the problems, we should have forbearance.
పరమ పావనమైన భారతావని యందు సహనమన్నది మనకు చక్కదనము.
In the sacred land of Bharat, it is the forbearance that adds to the beauty.
సహనం.
Forbearance, patience.
వ్రతములన్నిటి యందు వన్యగాంచిన ఎట్టి ఘనసత్యశీలమే కఠినతమము.
Of all the rituals, adherence to truth is the strongest one.
మధుర భావం వేది మన దేశమందన్న మాతృభావము కన్నా మాన్యమేది.
The most nectarous feeling in this country is the feeling towards the mother, the motherly feeling.
ప్రతి నిమిషంను మానమే పాడు చేసుకుంటున్నాము.
And in fact, it is the character which is much more important than life itself, and we are spoiling it.
No. క్యారెక్టర్.
The character which is most important.
కనుక మన దేశ నీతిని మంటగలిపి
We have ruined our own national character.
నేటికి చిరికి పనిచేస్తే నీతి.
And we have today all those qualities of the alien country, the foreign land.
ఏరుగెట్టిన తలబల మెరుగలేదు.
Just as the elephant is not aware of its strength,
అట్టులైనారు మన భారతీయులు నేడు.
is the plight of Bharatiyas today.
తనలో ఉన్నటువంటి శక్తి మరి దేని ఎందుకు కూడా లేదు.
In fact, that kind of power that we have within us is not noticed
మానవుడు
anywhere.
మహాశక్తివంతుడు.
Man is highly powerful.
అటువంటి శక్తివంతుడైనటువంటి మానవత్వాన్ని ఈనాడు మర్చిపోతున్నాము.
Such power within the human being is forgotten and
క్షణములకు కోపము, తాపము, ఈర్ష్య, అసూయ, డంబము ఇత్యాది దుర్గుణములతో మనం మునిగిపోతున్నాము.
we get ourselves drowned every moment in anger, envy, hatred, pomp and show.
ఎవరితో కూడా మనం ద్వేషం పెట్టుకోకూడదు.
We should not hate anybody.
ఎవరిపైన మనం కోపం చేయకూడదు.
We should not be angry with anyone.
వాడు మన పైన కోపించినా కూడా మనం ఒక నమస్కారం చేస్తాం.
Even others are angry towards you, you should salute them, offer their respect.
Hello brother, how are you? How are you? How are you?
You should be in a position to talk to them in courtesy. How are you, brother?
నీవు బ్రదర్ అనేటప్పటికీ తాను కూడా నువ్వు బ్రదర్ అని వస్తాడు.
Then once you address him brother, he would also equally respond saying,
నీవు నా ద్వేషి అనుకుంటే వాడు నీపైన ద్వేషంగా వస్తుంటాడు.
if you declare him as your enemy, he also turns into an enemy.
రియాక్షన్, రీసౌండ్, రిఫ్లెక్షన్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఒకదానికొకటి సంబంధించినటువంటివి.
There is an intimate relationship between reaction, reflection and resound.
కనుక మనం ఎట్టి చేస్తామో అట్టిదే మనకు ఫలితం లభిస్తుంది.
As is the action, so will be the consequence and the result.
మామిడి పండు తింటే
If you eat the mango fruit,
ఏమైనా పనస పండు తేపు వస్తుందా?
you will not have belch of any other fruit.
లేదు. ఏ పండు తింటే ఆ దాని యొక్క వాసనే వస్తుంది.
As is the fruit, so will be the belching.
కనుక మీరు ప్రేమతో నిజంగా ఈ హృదయాన్ని నింపుకుంటే ప్రేమనే మీకు దానికి త్రేపుగా వస్తుంది.
If you fill your heart with love, and the love will manifest, express itself.
పిల్లలారా,
Students,
ఈ వయసు లోపల మీరు ప్రేమను పెంచుకోండి.
at this age, develop love more and more.
ఈ ప్రాపంచిక ప్రేమను కాదు,
This is not worldly love.
దైవం యొక్క ప్రేమ.
It is the divine love.
డివైన్ లవ్ మీలో ఉంటుంటే డీప్ వైన్ అనేటువంటిది దూరం అయిపోతుంది.
When once you have divine love, you will be distancing yourself from deep wine.
కనుక మీరు డివైన్ వైపు పెంచుకోండి.
Therefore develop divine love.
నా జీవితం ఇదియే.
Divine love is the life of our Bhagavan.
మానవత్వం అనగా ప్రేమతో కూడినటువంటిది జీవితమే మానవత్వము.
Human life should be one of love only.
ఈ ప్రేమనే లేకుండా వాడు మానవుడే కాదు.
Bereft of love, he is no true human at all.
కనుక ప్రేమను పెంచుకొని నేను మానవుడు 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 అని సత్కీర్తిని కాంచండి.
Therefore develop love and lead a true human life of repute and esteem.
ఈనాడు మీరు ప్రదర్శించిన ప్రకటించిన విషయములన్నీ కూడాను దేశానికి అంతా కూడా వ్యాప్తి కావాలి.
All your presentations today should be spread all over the country.
ఇత్యాది పవిత్రమైనటువంటి విషయంలోనూ ఎవ్వరు కూడా ఏ పేపర్లందరూ వేయరు. పిచ్చి పిచ్చి సినిమావి పిచ్చి పిచ్చి యాక్షన్వి పిచ్చి పిచ్చి ఇవన్నీ కూడాను పేపర్లో వేస్తుంటారు.
And in fact, all silly cinemas, all silly presentations will tax you.
మన హృదయంలో పవిత్రమైనటువంటివి నిశ్చలమైనటువంటివి నిర్మలమైనటువంటి నిస్వార్థమైనటువంటి యొక్క ప్రేమతత్వమే కుదరాలి.
And therefore, our heart should be full of love. We should be steady, pure, unsullied, unpolluted.
కనుకనే భగవంతుని నిర్గుణం నిరంజనం సనాతనం నికేతనం నిత్య శుద్ధ బుద్ధ ముక్తి నిర్మల స్వరూపిణం అన్నారు.
Therefore we describe God, we extol Him as blemishless, eternal, nectarous, immortal, beyond the three attributes.
మానవ జన్మం సార్థకము అన్నారు.
It said the human life is to be redeemed.
దేని వల్ల సార్థకము?
How can you work for redemption?
జగడాలు వేయటం వల్ల సార్థకమా?
Is it by argumentation?
దేశాలు పెట్టుకోవటం సార్థకమా?
Is it by hatred?
కాదు కాదు కాదు.
No.
ఇవంతా అనిమల్స్ కూడా చేసుకున్నాయి.
These are all animal qualities we find among them.
ప్రేమను పెంచుకోవటమే నిజమైనటువంటి మానవత్వము.
Therefore developing love is the true human nature.
కనుక ప్రేమైనటువంటి యొక్క పిల్లలారా మీరు ఎప్పుడు కూడా ప్రేమను పెంచుకోండి.
Dear students, develop love.
మీలో మీకు ఏమైనా చిన్న చిన్న భేదములు కలిగినప్పుడు దాన్ని అణుచుకోండి.
If there are any differences among you, see that they are under check, control.
ప్రేమనే మీ ప్రధానమైన ప్రాణంగా తీసుకోవాలి.
Consider love as your very breath, life.
ఆ ప్రేమ మీకు ప్రధానంగా ఉండినప్పుడే
Then once this love is the very
భేదము
foundation,
భేదము ద్వేషము అసూయ ఇత్యాది దుర్గుణములు ఏమాత్రము దగ్గరకు రావు.
when once there is love within you, the pomp, the show, the hatred, enmity, envy will never be anywhere in the
కేవలము
vicinity.
సంబంధ బాంధవ్యం చేత ఏర్పడినటువంటి
These are all present because of their intimate association.
అడవిలో ఉన్నటువంటి యొక్క జింకలు గాని పందులు గాని ఇంకే విధమైనటువంటి మృగములు కానీ ఒకదానికొకటి సంబంధం లేదు.
And there, in the wildlife, the animals, they have no any association or
దాంట్లో
relationship.
ఎట్టి ద్వేషములు ఉండవు.
There's no hatred among the wild animals.
కానీ ప్రపంచంలో గ్రామాల లోపల మానవత్వంలో ఎక్కువ ద్వేషాలు వస్తున్నాయి.
There is conflict, contradiction only among humans.
ఇది కాదు మానవత్వము.
This is not human quality.
మానవుడు పెంచుకోవాల్సినటువంటిది ప్రేమ తప్ప ధనములు కాదు.
What we have to share with the rest is love and not money.
మనీ కమ్స్ అండ్ గోస్.
Money comes and goes.
మొరాలిటీ కమ్స్ అండ్ గ్రోస్.
Morality comes and grows.
కనుక మొరాలిటీని మనం పెంచుకోవాలి.
Therefore, we have to develop morality.
పిల్లలారా
Students,
మీరు చాలా నిర్మల హృదయుడు,
children, you have pure heart.
నిశ్చల భావము
You
కలవాడు.
have got steady feelings.
నిశ్చల భావం కలవాడు.
And you have got steady feelings.
ఇటువంటి పవిత్రమైనటువంటి హృదయం కలిగినటువంటి సమయంలో మీరు ఎంతనో ప్రేమను పెంచుకోవచ్చు.
Having been gifted with sacred hearts, there is every scope to develop love.
ఇది ఆకాశం వరకు పెరుగుతుంది.
And this can grow up limitlessly up to sky.
ఎలాంటి పరిస్థితులు ఏందేనో మీరు ప్రేమ 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 ప్రేమ.
Under any circumstances, never give up love. Love is important.
అప్పుడు స్వామి మీ వెంటనే జంటనే ఇంటనే కట్టనే ఉన్నాడు.
When once you have love with you, within you, Bhagavan is always with you, in you, above you, below you, around you.
కనుక ఈ ప్రేమను మీరు పెంచుకోండి.
Develop such sort of divine love.
త్వరలోనే నేను అనంతపురం వస్తాను.
Very soon, Bhagavan will be visiting Anantapur.
నేను 10 సంవత్సరాలు అయిపోయింది అనంతపురం చొక్కక. 10 సంవత్సరాలు అయిపోయింది అనంతపురం రాక.
Bhagavan visited Anantapur 10 years ago.
కానీ ఇతూరి మీ యొక్క ప్రేమ వల్ల, మీ యొక్క సంకల్పం చేత తప్పక నేను వస్తాను.
Because of your love, your fine sentiments and presentations, Bhagavan decided to visit Anantapur.
కనుక మీరందరూ అప్పటికి మరింత పెద్దగా భజనలు అభివృద్ధి గావించుకొని, ప్రేమను అభివృద్ధి గావించుకొని మంచి సిద్ధంగా ఉంటుండాలి.
Therefore be ready, singing bhajans everywhere, sharing love with everyone.
భజన వినా సుఖ శాంతి నహి.
In fact, there's no happiness, there's no peace where there are no bhajans.
భజన కంటే మించినటువంటి శాంతి మరొకటి లేదు.
It's only bhajan that converts peace, none else.
భజన బినా సుఖ శాంతి నహి. హరి నామ బినా ఆనంద నహి. స్త్రీలు కూడాను ప్రత్యేకంగా ఎంతో భక్తి ప్రాంతంలో ఉన్నటువంటి వారు ఉన్నారు.
There are certainly people full of devotion and steadfastness.
కనుక అటు స్త్రీలు కూడాను సంఘములు ఏర్పరచుకొని, సమాజములు ఏర్పరచుకొని, అందరూ వారి వారి గృహమును వారు పరిశుద్ధం చేసుకొని, వారి వారి పిల్లలను పవిత్రమైన మార్గంలో అభివృద్ధి పరచాలి.
The women also should organize themselves so as to take care of their residences, maintain their homes clean and hygienic, and see to it that their children will grow.
కానీ ఉద్యోగాలకు పోతున్నారు చదివినటువంటి వారు.
But the educated people run after jobs.
ఉద్యోగములు చేయు వనితలందరూ కుటుంబం యొక్క సంగతి ఏమిటో వాళ్ళకి అర్థం కాదు.
Ladies that are after their jobs do not have any understanding of the maintenance of their families.
పరబాలులకు నేర్ప పాఠశాలలకే తమ బాలులకు నేర్పు తల్లులేది.
If they go and teach elsewhere, who is going to teach their own children?
తమ పిల్లలకు తాము నేర్పుకోవాలి.
In fact, you should teach your own kids.
అప్పుడే నిజమైనటువంటి యొక్క గృహస్థురాలు అవుతావు.
Then only you can be a true householder.
నీవు ఆఫీసులో ఉన్న పిల్లలు సరిలేకపోతే నీకంతా కూడా మనసు చంచలం అవుతుంది.
As you go to office and neglect your children, naturally you lose peace of mind.
కనుక మనము కుటుంబంను పోషించుకోవాలి.
Therefore, we should take care of our families.
తల్లిదండ్రులను అత్తమామలను గౌరవించాలి.
We should respect the parents and in-laws.
అప్పుడే మీరు నిజమైన స్త్రీ తత్వంకు తగినటువంటి అర్థం వస్తుంది.
There lies the true meaning of this title, Stree, or ideal womanhood.
కనుక మీరు పిల్లలు, పెద్దలు, స్త్రీలు, పురుషులు అందరూ కూడాను సత్య మార్గమును అనుసరించండి.
Therefore, children, youngsters, adults, women, tread along the path of truth.
అప్పుడే మీ యొక్క జీవితము మన యొక్క
भवानी शिव शंभो कुमारा अम्ब भवानी शिव शंभो कुमारा श्री गणनाथ शांतकारा श्री गणनाथ शांतकारा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा अम्बा भवानी शिव शंभो कुमारा श्री गणनाथ शांतकारा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा सत्य साईनाथा सत्य साईनाथा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा भवानी शिव शंभो कुमारा
श्री गुरु जय गुरु साईनाथ सद्गुरु ब्रह्मरूप गुरु दीनानाथ भोलेनाथ ब्रह्मरूप गुरु गुरु जय गुरु साईनाथ सद्गुरु
जननी मां साई जननी 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 प्रेम वाहिनी ज्ञान वाहिनी धर्म वाहिनी ज्ञान वाहिनी प्रशांति वाहिनी चिर सुखदायिनी प्रशांति वाहिनी चिर सुखदायिनी जय जय साई जय जय साई जननी मां साई जननी मां साई जननी जननी मां साई प्रेमवाहिनी मा ज्ञानवाहिनी मा धर्मवाहिनी मा ज्ञानवाहिनी मा प्रशान्तिवाहिनी चिरसुखदायिनी जय जय साई मां जय जय साई मां जननी मां साई जननी मां बुद्ध महावीर येशु साई बुद्ध महावीर येशु साई वाहे गुरु बोल मनवा वाहे गुरु बोल मनवा अल्लाह यीशु सतगुरु साई अल्लाह यीशु सतगुरु साई गीता वेद कुरान और साई गीता वेद कुरान और साई तन में साई मन में साई रोम रोम में साई साई वाहे गुरु बोल वाहे गुरु बोल मनवा बुद्ध महावीर येशु साई वाहे गुरु बोल मनवा अल्लाह यीशु सतगुरु साई गीता वेद कुरान और साई तन में साई मन में साई रोम रोम में साई साई वाहे गुरु बोल वाहे गुरु बोल मनवा बुद्ध महावीर येशु साई
जय जय रामा जय रघुरामा दशरथ नंदन राजा राजा रामा।
शिरडी की साई परती के बाबा, शिरडी की साई परती के बाबा, तुम हो हमारे प्यारे साई बाबा, तुम हो हमारे प्यारे साई बाबा, शिरडी के साई भरती के बाबा, प्रेममया साई प्रेम प्रदाता, प्रेममया साई प्रेम प्रदाता, ईश्वराम्बनन्दन जगत परिपाला, ईश्वराम्बनन्दन जगत परिपाला, हे पाप विनाशक परम कृपाला, हे पाप विनाशक परम कृपाला, शिरडी के साई भरती के बाबा, तुम हो हमारे प्यारे साई बाबा, शिरडी के साई भरती के बाबा, प्रेममया साई प्रेम प्रदाता, ईश्वराम्बनन्दन जगत परिपाला, हे पाप विनाशक परम कृपाला, हे पाप विनाशक परम कृपाला, शिरडी के साई परती के बाबा,
तू ही अल्लाह अकबर, तू ही शिव साई शंकर, अल्लाह अकबर, तू ही शिव साई शंकर, तू ही अल्लाह अकबर, तू ही शिव साई शंकर, तू ही अल्लाह अकबर, तू ही शिव साई शंकर, तू ही राम रहीम, तू ही चिदानंद हरे तू ही अल्लाह अकबर तू ही साई शंकर
सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम सबको दीजो धर्म शांति प्रेम सबको दीजो सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम सबको दीजो धर्म शांति प्रेम सबको दीजो सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम स्वरूप आप है सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम स्वरूप आप है सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम जीवन का मर्म है सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम जीवन का मर्म है सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम स्वरूप आप है सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम जीवन का मर्म है गुरुदेव 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 सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम सबको दीजो
जय जग जननी माँ जय जग जननी माँ जय जग जननी माँ जय माँ जय माँ जय माँ जय माँ
हरि ओम नमः शिवाय। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर साईश्वराय नमो। 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 हरि ओम नमः शिवाय। हरि ओम नमः शिवाय। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर साईश्वराय नमो। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर साईश्वराय नमो। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर साईश्वराय नमो। ओम नमः शिवाय।
जय जय हनुमान जय हनुमान। 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 मारुति राया जय हनुमान। मारुति राया जय हनुमान। महानुभावा जय हनुमान। महानुभावा जय हनुमान। वायुकुमारा जय हनुमान। वानरवीरा जय हनुमान। अंजनी पुत्रा जय हनुमान। अति बलवंता जय हनुमान। श्री रामदूता जय हनुमान। श्री रामदूता जय हनुमान। श्री राम भक्ता जय हनुमान। श्री राम भक्ता जय हनुमान। जय जय हनुमान जय हनुमान। जय जय हनुमान जय हनुमान। मारुति राया जय हनुमान। महानुभावा जय हनुमान। वायुकुमारा जय हनुमान। वानरवीरा जय हनुमान। अंजनी पुत्रा जय हनुमान। अति बलवंता जय
बेटा जय हनुमान, श्री राम बेटा जय हनुमान, जय जय हनुमान जय हनुमान।
भव भय हरणा वंदित चरणा, भव भय हरणा वंदित चरणा, जय राधा जय माधवा शौरी, जय राधा जय माधवा, जय राधा जय माधवा, जय राधा जय माधवा। मंगल चरणा कलिमल दहना, मंगल चरणा कलिमल दहना, मंगल चरणा कलिमल दहना, मंगल चरणा कलिमल दहना। नारायण केशवा, नारायण केशवा, नारायण केशवा, नारायण केशवा। जय राधा जय माधवा शौरी, जय राधा जय माधवा शौरी, जय राधा जय माधवा, जय राधा जय माधवा। भव भय हरणा वंदित चरणा, भय हरणा वंदित चरणा, जय राधा जय माधवा शौरी। मंगल चरणा कलिमल दहना, नारायण केशवा, जय राधा जय माधवा शौरी, जय राधा जय माधवा। भव भय हरणा वंदित चरणा।
भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्रीभास्कराय विद्महे साई देवाय धीमहि तन्नः सूर्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ प्रेमात्मनाय विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नः सत्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायण पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतो सिद्धमोदतो सन्नविनायक सविता पावकतो सविता पावकतो ब्रह्ममसतो यहोशक्तितो येषु पिता प्रभुतो रुद्रविष्णुतो रामकृष्णतो रहीमताओतो रहीमताओतो वासुदेव गोविश्वरूपतो शिवानन्द हरितो अद्वितीयतो अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतो आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतो आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतो। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पणतीका आश्रित कल्पणतीका आवधानः। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता गुरुदेव मरियन्तयो नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्र शयना। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी ओ साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंदुको मंगल आरती अंदुको बंदर गिरिधारे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् 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 विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।